Hello folks. So today's video I'm going to introduce you to a person that I read pretty often. His name is Martin Armstrong. He's from Armstrong Economics. I'll leave a link for you down below somehow or another to this article that I'm reading. Okay. So it begins with question regarding the CBDC, that's central bank digital currency, for those of you or us who's not totally aware. Okay, will they convert all the savings cash in your bank account? Will they convert everything in your brokerage accounts, all stocks, etc., or will they go after gold and silver you have in storage, Brinks, for example? Okay, so that's the question. Now, Martin's answer is everything will be converted to the new CBDC. The money in your bank account is already just an electronic book entry. This is why banks are closing branches everywhere in the U.S. as well as Europe. They are preparing for the CBDCs, which means without physical paper money, bank branches are no longer needed. You can deposit a check on your phone. The only thing left for a branch is safe deposit boxes. And the government assumes that you're hiding cash there anyway. So kiss your local branch goodbye. The local branch I used, because it was the closest, has closed. And it is now a 30-minute ride to the closest one still open. Now, that makes sense. The monetary system will still function as normal. The exchange will probably be one for one. The main purpose of this is to destroy the underground economy. That's you and I, folks. Okay, so they're targeting the low man on the totem pole. Okay, underground economy to be able to tax everything, even the 16-year-old girl next door you hired to babysit while you go out to dinner, and that $100 bill you found in your parking lot that you cheated the government out of their 50% gift tax. We are all looked down upon as scum. They presume we are all guilty, and the whole debt crisis is never their fault. It is you, we, the people. That's true enough. I mean, that's the way I feel. Okay, so let's move on. This is the natural progression of direct taxation, the complete loss of all liberty. That is why the founding fathers prohibited direct taxations. But the socialists seized the government and followed Marx to get all the evil people rich. It was introduced with the promise that only the rich would have to pay. They lied about that as well. For as soon as the income tax took place, simultaneously the same bill, there was the payroll tax demanding employers withhold income from their workers. Okay, then we got some photos of newspaper clippings here to, dated back to when? 1912, in that area, Los Angeles Times, 1912. Anyway, the federal income tax of 1913 was accompanied by the fact that the law also attempted to withhold the brand new income tax because the people were never to be trusted. Initial estimates were that the withholding provision would yield 2/3 of income tax revenue. But in 1916, less than 5% came from withholding. Furthermore, employers' simple lack of compliance led to a massive groundswell of opposition to the new withholding system. Yeah, we scroll down a little bit, and then we got some artist renditions from, 1913, whatever, newspaper clippings. Okay, the people realized that the government lied to get the 16th Amendment passed, and the state politicians voted for it because it allowed them to also impose income taxes at the state level. Even cities joined the money grab, imposing city income taxes. Every layer of government now had the right to extort money from the people based on their income, requiring disclosure of their personal lives. You gave your children money, which was circumventing income tax, so they rolled out the gift tax, which fueled the corruption on a massive scale. The Revenue Act of 1862 included the inheritance tax and gift tax, which applied to transfers of personal assets. In 1864, Congress amended the Revenue Act, added tax on the transfers of real estate, and increased the rates for inheritance taxes. They have always used war to justify raising taxes, but they always remain in place thereafter. The War Revenue Act of 1898 implemented the inheritance tax of 0.74% to 15%, which was used to fund the Spanish-American War. This is why the government loves to wage wars. Okay, we got another little the Tacoma Daily Ledger from 1917, federal income tax. You'll have to go to the website and read those little things, because they're just visual representations. So. Okay, by 1916, the payroll tax had become so politically unpopular that even Secretary of Treasury William McAdoo advocated for its removal. In the War Revenue Act of 1917, the withholding rules passed in 1913 were officially repealed and replaced with the softer set of rules for employers. They were now only required to furnish information about wages paid to employees throughout the year, but not actually withhold or pay taxes on those wages. The entire CBDC movement is about taxes. And they want to eliminate all paper money so they can track absolutely everything, rendering you an economic slave for the state, precisely as the left created with communism. You will not be able to escape the system. This is why I have said that republics are just tyranny by another label. We have no right to vote on anything. We are supposed to be represented by those in the House of Representatives, and the Senate represents the state governments, not the people. We have no right to vote on any issue ranging from taxes to war. Okay. When FDR confiscated the gold, it was from institutions, banks, and storage facilities. The Gold Confiscation Act of April 5th, 1933, called for holders of significant quantities of gold to sell their gold at the prevailing price of $20.67 per ounce. They did not go from house to house. That is what FDR did. There are Supreme Court cases known as the Gold Clause, where they upheld that private contracts with the Gold Clause could not be enforced. Okay, some more visual representations. Okay, the only exception was numismatic coins, because Teddy Roosevelt from 1858 to 1919 was an ancient coin collector. When Teddy became president September 14th, 1901, March 4th, 1909, he commissioned the artist Augustus St. Gaudens to redesign the $20 gold coin and made it high relief, as the ancient coins had been struck. The machines could not handle the high relief, and so the coins had to be reduced to their relief. He also ordered redesigning the $10 gold coin and had the American Indian represented. Teddy himself insisted on the headdress. Okay, the statue of Teddy Roosevelt, who ironically was a socialist, had his statue removed from New York under the reinterpretation that it was a racist because it portrayed an American Indian and a black African. Teddy was certainly not a slave owner. Ouch! Their representation reflected the two continents. See, this is why I'm saying, ow, he's biting on my fingers down there. Okay. Teddy was certainly not a slave owner. Their representation this is screwed. In Africa, because Roosevelt had taken a year-long expedition to Africa. This is the danger of interpretation that changes with the changing times. Teddy's $10 Indian was commissioned in the same spirit of respect, not some racist woke theory. This time they will cancel all your paper currency, and your money and accounts is electronic book entries anyway. That will all be replaced with CBDCs in the bank brokerage accounts. The only thing to survive will be tangible, real numismatic coins before 1933. They may outlaw bullion in transactions, and just as they altered the private contracts notifying any clause that required payment in gold, we must understand that they can and do that even to cryptocurrencies, outlawing each transaction. I gotta read that again. I didn't really understand it. This time they will cancel all your paper currency, and your money in accounts is electronic book entries anyway. That will all be replaced with CBDCs in the bank brokerage accounts. The only thing to survive will be tangible, real, numismatic coins before 1933. They may outlaw bullion in transactions, and just as they altered all private contracts, notifying any clause that required payments in gold, they must understand that they can do, well, we must understand that they can do that even to cryptocurrencies, outlawing such transactions. So, basically what all this is saying to us is that the government wants its taxes. They want their money. You're not here to get yourself rich. You got to get the government rich. So, I don't know if when all this goes through. So that's the point of what we're doing here, is we're trying to take in this information and then formulate a plan, so we know what we're going to do with the rest of, how we're going to handle this, how we're going to live through all this change. So anyway, folks, that's about it for this. It went on longer than I anticipated. So I'll leave you with, be careful. It's a jungle out there. All right. Bye.